And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Green. This is the golf card game from DV Games. Now DV is probably best known for making Bang, and I'm always interested to see what new card game they have, but I have to say when I got Green I was like, because I don't really care about golf. I know that there's a good chunk of the world that really enjoys golf, but I find the sport to be too expensive and more than that, just way too boring both to watch and to play. However, a golf board game seems like a possible good game. I played some in the past that were okay. It's an intriguing thing. The game is slow enough, it's like do something, but a card game? Golf? Well, let's see. Now, at the beginning of each round, there's 3 rounds in a game, you're going to set the hole up, and you're going to draw these random cards off the green and place them here like this. So, essentially, this is the first hole is going to be par 3, so you'll draw 3 cards. And these cards kind of set up the random hole, and so players are going to place their ball at the very beginning. This is kind of the tee-off area. This is kind of a weird hole because you're going to jump over water right away. Players then are going to have an action that they can take on their turn. Now, most of their actions are simply going to be either drawing a card or playing a card. You also have the opportunity to quit if you want, but then you get -1 in your next hole. So, when you draw a card, you're simply going to take a card from the 4 face-up ones and add it to your hand, which is then replaced. If you don't like any of the cards that are face-up, then you simply can pay one of your caddy tokens that you start with to wipe all of them and place 4 new ones out there, and you can repeat that until you run out of caddy tokens, and that's how you get a handful of cards. You're allowed to have 8 maximum cards. Other than that, you will play a card and move your ball the number of space on the card. So if the card says 3, I'd go 1, 2, 3. If the card said 2, I'd go 2. The next turn I would add 1. If I'm on a -2 and a bunker here, I would subtract those 2 from whatever card I played. If I played a 1 here, it would bounce back because you can't land on water. If I played a 3, it would bounce back because there's only room for 1 ball there. There's room for 2 up here. Now, what you're trying to do is to get the ball in the hole. When you play a card, you will move the number of spaces on the card, and then you will also activate a special ability on the card. Or if you pay a caddy token, you can activate the special ability on one of your opponent's cards that they have played in front of them. Now, different cards will have different things. At the beginning of each hole, you'll roll a die. That die will show you the wind. So you can see here, for example, the iron moves 3 spaces when the wind is 3 or 4. If the wind was 1 or 2, it would move 4. This one. The iron's special ability is once you play it, you can play another card. This putter here lets you go 1 or 2 spaces, and if you're at the hole, you can go into the hole and you pocket the ball. Otherwise, you go into the rough, which is back here, and you will stay there until you can play a putter special ability. You need a putter to get into the final hole. When you play a chipper, it lets you move 2 like this, but then you can discard the chipper card. At the end of the round, each card that you've played counts as a stroke, so a chipper lets you reduce your strokes. A wood lets you hit the ball a decent amount, and if it's the first card you've played, it's +2. A wedge lets you ignore a bunker penalty, or when you land on someone else, you can go in front of them instead of behind them. A hybrid lets you go 3, but you can play 2 hybrids together. They count only as 1 club and then combine them as a 6. And so those are the different golf clubs that you'll be playing. Once you land in the hole, you're going to get a score based on basically this is a par 3, so let's say I landed in, I got a birdie, I will get 5 points. And I will place my token here on the 5. Every round, when it's my turn again, as other players are still going, this is going to go up by 1. So I have to be very careful as the other players not to take too long and draw cards, or otherwise the other person's score is going to be pretty high. And you're going to do this again. You'll set up a 4-ball hole, then a par 5 hole, and then you'll add your 3 scores together, and whoever has the highest score at the end is the winner. You can also play with special ability cards. Each player has a professional golfer, like this guy is a +2 in bunkers instead of a negative. This guy here can add or subtract from the wind. This guy can always pocket the ball, doesn't need a putter special ability, and this guy, when he lands on someone else, automatically goes over them instead of behind. Even though I went into this game with a somewhat negative attitude, I found out that the game actually was pretty fun. It's a simple game of drafting cards and then playing them, and you're trying to play them as efficiently as possible. Now, you could technically probably score a hole-in-one. We figured it out that it's possible, especially if you're using the some of the cards that basically let you get rid of them, and you play a wood at the right moment, and so on. And someone else plays a putter, which lets you use their special ability. It's possible to score a hole-in-one on a goal, which is good. It shouldn't be possible to score a hole-in-one most of the time, but in this game it is. At the same time, if you work really hard to get that hole-in-one or that birdie or eagle or what have you, your opponent may finish quicker than you, and they may score just a regular or a bogey or something like that and get points, and then starting adding a point every round while you were slowly trying to get your shot in. Is this game a perfect simulation of golf? Not even close. But it does bring enough flavor to the game, the golfing theme, that I think if I knew somebody who was into golf, this would be an excellent game to give them, because I think they would like it, and I think the game is simple enough for them to understand, to move the ball, and they'll understand the woods and the wedges and the irons and things like that, and the wind. And it's not that complicated, but at the same time, it offers you some real choices. Am I going to take this card and add it to my hand, or am I going to start playing cards and finishing the hole as quickly as I can? The game isn't deep, and each hole does get progressively more difficult, which is the way golf courses can be. And so I'm not trying to pass this off or pawn this off as, well, it's not a good game, but if you have someone who likes golf, get it. Because no, I don't think you should get somebody who likes a sport like golf a bad golf game just because that's what they like. But this is a decent game, and I think that this would be a good gift for them. So what if you don't like golf? Well, I still think you're going to have fun. Again, I don't like golf, and I was like, hey, this is pretty interesting. You can play solitaire and see how far you can go. You can play with, you can play the full complement of 4 players is fine, and actually is slightly different than playing with 2 because there's more balls out there, and you're going to get a different experience. But for like a 2-player game, this isn't bad. It's just back and forth, draw, play, boom, and then the game is eventually over, and it's not long. The box here says 30 minutes. Which seems about right, maybe 10 minutes per hole, but I think once you play, you can actually even tighten up on that time. Anyhow, not a big fan of golf, but green, a fun game. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!
There.